Mind and intuition. The mental man resides in the head with its 7 portals. The brain is designed to process thought, but it is not thought itself. The brain is merely the instrument of the mental body. The mental body is a material organism, but it is not the physical body. The mental body has its ultraphysiology, ultrabiology, and internal pathology, which modern scientists are completely unaware of. The mental body is enveloped in a silky sheath that protects and aligns it with the nervous brain spinal system. This sheath is the engendered armor of the mental body, and it is entirely covered with certain truncated cones called modules, which are the senses of the mental body. Among these sensory centers of the mental body, there is one that allows it to control individual and universal seminal currents. There are also certain senses in our mental body that allow us to receive wisdom from the different stars. The lower part of our armor forms the convolutions of the brain. The mental body has an atomic nucleus that serves as its foundation. This nucleus is the master atom of the mind. The master atom of the mind possesses all the wisdom of nature, and through internal meditation, one who learns to communicate with this atom is taught and instructed in cosmic wisdom, because it is wise. The master atom resides in our seminal system, but through sexual magic, it rises to the head and then enlightens us in the world of the mind. The silvery armor shines like gold when we practice sexual magic, because millions of high-voltage transformative atoms cover and completely transform it. This is when consciousness awakens and the aristocracy of intelligence truly emerges. This is when we can talk about mental culture and ethnic transformation. How can Mr. Terenzi Lin talk about human sublimation, current improvement, and immediate results without possessing a solid mental culture? Does Mr. Terenzi Lin even know the intimate relationships between sexuality and the mind? Mr. Terenzi Lin should study Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis to at least grasp the basic concepts of the relationship between sexuality and the mind. Is Mr. Terenzi Lin believing that by playing football, riding horses, and selecting sensations, he will achieve what he pompously calls new conceptions, mental culture, aristocracy of intelligence, and spiritual rebirth? Is Mr. Terenzi Lin believing that his disciples will achieve intuition with his sympathetic system of mental controls? The 10 rules of the 4th lesson of his esoteric course are better suited to be sold to Mr. Israel Rojas, so that he can make a profit from them. Talking about positive and pragmatic practicality without the disciple having gone through sexual regeneration is the height of foolishness. How can an individual degenerated by the passion of the flesh talk about methodical life and full attention? How can an individual whose mental body has not been transformed by transformative atoms talk about the association of ideas and desires? How can an individual without the master atom in its throne talk about creative thinking? Doesn't Mr. Terenzi know that thoughts not infused with the determinative energy of nature, sexual energy, disintegrate? Does Mr. Terenzi not know that determinative energy is sexual energy? How can an individual with an atrophied pineal gland due to fornication talk about valor, willpower, and triumph? Does Mr. Terenzi not know the intimate relationship between the pineal gland and the sexual glands? Or does Mr. Terenzi not know that the pineal gland is the thought-emitting center? How can an individual with a weakened brain due to the vice of coitus talk about mental concentration? How does Mr. Terenzi dare to tell his disciples to eliminate useless efforts without giving them a clear direction? How can an individual who has not found themselves and has strayed from the intimate due to black magic claim self-sufficiency? How can a weak soul suffice for itself? Doesn't Mr. Terenzi realize that souls separated from the intimate are weak? Mr. Terenzi is nothing more than an upstart, a paranoid, a parvenu, a megalomaniac, self-proclaimed as an avatar, a false prophet. The mind can be divided into the concrete mind and the abstract mind. One thing is the critique of practical reason, and another is the critique of pure reason. The concepts in the critique of practical reason are based on experiences of external sensory perceptions, while the concepts in the critique of pure reason are nourished by a priori ideas and intuitions. Terenzi completely ignores the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, the great philosopher of Königsberg. Terenzi, with his system of controls and selection of sensations, only seeks to enslave his disciples to the critique of practical reason, the lower mind, and the concrete mind. All of this is pure and legitimate black magic, as it only serves to turn the disciple into a slave of external sensations and a black magician. What does Terenzi know about the critique of pure reason? What does Chirenzi know about Brahma Vidya and the intimates? Does Chirenzi know the intimate physical somatic relationships of Brahma Vidya? Is Chirenzi a Samuson of thought? Is Chirenzi a Demiorphla of the mind? Is Chirenzi a student of Azug, the book of Eastern wisdom? No, dear reader, Chirenzi is nothing more than an upstart, a paranoid, a megalomaniac, self-proclaimed as an avatar, and a false prophet. Brahma Vidya is the mind of the intimate. The mind of the intimate is the result or extract of all experiences acquired with the mental body. Brahma Vidya is the aureoled body of victory mentioned in the book Atomic Gods. One thing is the mind as a mind, and another is the mind as an instrument. The moments of union between Brahma Vidya and the mental body result in great cosmic enlightenments. The soul united with the intimate then plunges into the great world soul, Emerson's super soul, and perceives all the macrocosmic wonders. But to achieve these wonders, one must have opened the Dagma eye. This eye is intuition. Those who are already intuitive have a specially structured mental body. The nucleus of such a mind is a radiant violet circle. The Azug book calls this organized mind a Demiorphla. A Demiorphla does not bow to the powers of evil, and is not a slave to Maya illusion. To study the Azug, the book of Eastern wisdom, one must first undergo great and terrible initiatory tests. I received this book from the authentic master of wisdom Kauthumi, K.H. The sympathetic Chirenzi system of spending all day selecting sensations and stimulating the mind with controls only enslaves the disciple to the animal mind and the equally fatal intellect. All this is pure black magic. These dark teachings only lead to a complete separation between the monad and the personality, and this is precisely what Mr. Chirenzi seeks. Because he is not interested in the monad, he only worships the guardian of the threshold, the inner beast. Chirenzi, Paul Yagat, Mard, and Arkinson have been nothing more than great charlatans, pietists, and deceitful paranoiacs who only knew the lower activities of the intellect. Which of them understood the ultraphysiology and ultrabiology of the mental body? Most of these famous practical psychologists with their famous psychological injections only understand sensory reactions and subconscious atavisms. But which of them understands the structure of a Brahman's mental body? Which of them knows how to use and control the trident? All these famous modernist psychologists are illiterate in their field. Reason and intuition are two different things. Reason is nourished by external sensory perceptions through the senses. It perceives and elaborates sensations, making it negative and limited. The rational individual believes they can reach the truth through the battle of antitheses that divide the mind and prevent it from understanding the truth. The intuitive individual only knows how to listen to the voice of silence, and in their serene mind, the eternal truths of life are reflected with splendid beauty. The rational mind turns its mind into a battlefield filled with prejudices, fear, desires, fanaticism, theory, and its conclusions must always be in its favor. A turbid lake can never reflect the sun of truth. The mind of the intuitive person flows serenely and silently, far, far away from the black battle of antitheses and the tempest of exclusiveness. The rational mind is like a ship that only knows how to change docks, and, from these docks called schools, theories, religions, political parties, etc., it acts and reacts according to established precepts. Such a mind is a slave to the stagnant energies of life and, therefore, experiences complications and pain. The children of intuition, like rebellious eagles, soar proudly towards the sun of the great ineffable truths, free from fear. The desire to accumulate, free from sex, religions, schools, social prejudices, flag fanaticism, desires, theories, intellectualism, hatred, selfishness, etc. The mind of the intuitive person flows serenely and silently, delightfully like a crystal clear source of resplendent beauty amidst the august thunder of thought. The mental body of the intuitive person is a marvelous vehicle of the intimate. The mind of the intuitive person only acts under the direction of the intimate, resulting in right action, right thinking, and right feeling. The individual who only moves in the physical world under the guidance of the intimate is happy because they are far from all kinds of complications and conflicts. To reach the ineffable heights of intuition, one needs to live in accordance with the wise teachings brought to earth by the divine Rabbi of Galilee. It is the teachings of Christ that lead us to the ineffable heights of intuition. The key is to move in the physical world in exact accordance with the Master's wise teachings. The key is to embody Christ's teachings in our lives. Christ did not come to establish religions. Christ came to unite us with the intimate, our eternal Father. All of Christ's teachings have the great musical rhythm of the plane of waves of life, which is the Buddhist or intuitive world. The mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, vocalized for 10 minutes daily, develops intuition. This mantra is pronounced as follows: Om Ma Ssssssssse Padme Hum. This is the mantra of intuition. Practicing Christ's teachings awakens the heart chakra within us and activates the buddhik or intuitive body, leading us to wisdom and eternal happiness. Sexual magic is part of the teachings that Christ secretly taught to his 70 disciples, and as we practice Christ's teachings, the etheric body is completely reorganized, increasing the volume of the two upper ethers. A center is formed in the head, descends to the heart, and organizes this center for intuition. By not squandering our Christic force, a protective network is formed around the etheric body, protecting it from external currents. The physical body also becomes finer and stronger, and even the face transforms and beautifies. The teachings of the solar logos operate on all our internal bodies and turn them into refined instruments of the intimate. The important thing is to live these teachings in practical life. The members of Amorc sadly confuse the cosmic mind with cosmic consciousness. One thing is the waves of the mind and another is the waves of consciousness. The mind is nourished by consciousness. Cosmic consciousness gathers the like waves of the mind. The trident symbolizes the play of triple transformative force of the atoms of the mind. The mental body is not the self. The mental body is only an instrument of the self, and Mr. Terenzi Lin's attempt to enslave his disciples to this material instrument is the height of foolishness. The mind of the intuitive person is an ineffable chalice filled with wisdom. The mind of the intuitive person is the chalice of the Holy Grail, brimming with the blood of the martyr of Golgotha. The mind of the intuitive person is the sacred cup of Pleroma, the cup of Samadhi, the elixir of the gods, the soma consumed by the lords of the mind, the elixir of love, the buddhik elixir, the wine of light, transmuted in the fiery retort of beautiful Elena. It is the cup of the immortal gods. Elena, hail, hail, immortal gods. I toast to you in this delightful chalice and toast to the Virgin of the Seven Portals. I toast to Elena with a majestic face, and to her I sing my songs. Under the immortal archways of her silent temple, Elena, fill my cup with the wine of intuition. Elena, pour your amphora of love into my glass. Elena, console my pained heart. I want to sip the elixir of wisdom. Even if it adds pain, I want to be intoxicated with light and poetry and awaken in the arms of your love. Beautiful Elena, I love you. You are the chisel of philosophy. You are the fire of the arcane. You are the amphora of wisdom, and the long-awaited promised one of the sages. The purple and gold of ancient Ithaca I place at your feet. Oh Elena, I place at your feet the luxury of the Atrides. Oh, young maiden, I place at your feet the Greek ships. Oh serene goddess, I place at your feet all the ancient citadels. Oh, beautiful Elena, Elena, fill my cup with the wine of intuition. Pour your amphora of love into my glass.